There I am. Hi, everyone. Frankie here, New West Reset. Hello. How's it going, eh? Welcome back. Thank you very much for shooting in, joining a fella here for another one. Another live, as a matter of fact. New West Reset Live 109, episode 109 here today. So, welcome. Thanks for joining me here on this Sunday, March 16th, 2025. 5 p.m. local time, mountain time. As always, coming at you live from Calgary, here in southern Alberta, up in Canada land there, eh, buddy? Purdy Alberti. Even with all the snow that we've had yesterday and last night and again this morning. -6 Celsius right now. That's not terrible, I guess. A couple inches of snow, a few centimeters out there. So, great. That's terrific. Nope. Could be worse. Could be -30 with a couple inches of snow or whatever. So, yeah, there it is. So, thanks for winding down your weekend here with yours truly. Really appreciate that. Today, we're going to be looking at photos of China from 100 years ago. This is from the Buckland Glass Plate Photo Negative Collection. Some highfalutin family was able to go on a trip to China. There's photos from 1923 through 1924. I think there's a few in there from 1927 or something as well. But anyways, there's a lot. There's a lot of them, but fascinating and, of course, not what you might expect from what we're told, generally what, China looked like 100 years ago. So I think you'll be surprised, but not surprised if you catch what a guy's getting at. Anyway, before I get ahead of myself, hello, howdy, how's it going? Let me know how you're doing in the chat, in the box. See who's shooting in here. Thanks again for winding down your weekend here with me on this Sunday, a fun day. By the way, if you haven't already, consider giving a guy one of these. It just kind of helps to push me out into the that. Thanks to everybody who's already shared and subscribed. Links below for everything we're going to cover, including links below for a guy's email and my social media on MeWe, as well as BitChute and my location map. Links to all of my boots on the ground videos, as well as, a link for the guy's Rumble, because as always, we're broadcasting simultaneously on Rumble and YouTube. So hello, everybody on the HooTubes and the Bumble. Link below for, a fella's PayPal as well. So if you want to contribute to the Maple Syrup Fund, thank you in advance for that. Speaking of that, T-shirts have been sent. Everybody who's, everybody's agreed to get a T-shirt for their kind donation. Some people are like, it's fine. It's fine, Frankie. No worries. But anyways, T-shirts have been mailed. It's Canada Post, so, they're just coming out of a couple of month-long strike. Yeah, I'm still griping about it. So, it could take a while. But with that said, let's see how everybody's doing. Say hello, howdy to everybody. Vaughn's here. Good day, fella. Good to see you. Rod's in the box as well. Hello, hello. Kathy Broughton's here. Hello. How you doing? Strong winds. Strong winds in the bluegrass state. Let's yeah, hunker down, batten down the hatches. Careful now. Careful. Hiya, hippie. Hippie Shake is here. Good to see you as always, hippie. Hello, hello. Who could this be? Turtle! That's who. Turtle's here. Turtle! Hello, Turtle. How's it going, eh? DN in the box. Good to see you, DN. Channel Fitty Trees here. Hello, hello, hello. Howdy, neighbor. Wiley Metz in the box from Montana, down in Montana land. There's Eric. Lost and found. History rewritten. Hello, hello. The Phoenix is here. How's it going, eh? Hi, Chassis. Chassis Nix in the box. Good to see all of you. Thank you very much for all your support, for shooting in. Marit is here from Hidden at Plain Sight. Just firing out the content lately. Got some cool old videos from over in the Netherlands. Speaking of 100 years ago, from way back then. Check that out. So yeah, we're going to be looking at some old photos from China land there, eh? And early 20s, early to mid 20s. I thought it was interesting. I'm not gonna lie. I gotta be frank. Sorry about that, eh? Jenny Murphy's here, Tartarian prepper. Oh, from Northwest Montana. Well, howdy, neighbor. Real close. Just southwestern Alberta and northwestern Montana are just tickling each other. We're spooning. I don't know what that means, but that's terrible. Phil Henry's here. Howdy, Phil. So yeah, I did have a little bit of a peek. I was saying I'm not gonna lie here. I did some pre-looking at these photos, and yeah, wow, not what you'd expect from 100 plus years ago. So this link is from the digitalcommonwealth.org. Again, link below in the box or in the description box for that. Comes by way of George Prokopenko. Sent me this link quite a while ago. We've gone to this well a few times. This is a great link. It's from Massachusetts, the state of Massachusetts. Photo archives. And as per usual, the glass plate negative collection is lovely. So we're going to get into it here in a moment. And then, of course, we're going to have a mid-show break. I'll give you a sneak peek at your upcoming midweek. As a reminder, or for those of you that are new, every Sunday here for the live show, I give you a sneak peek at your upcoming vintage footage video. That's every Wednesday, old-timey video footage. Usually Canadian content in some form of another. Whether it's the video itself, old footage from the, 1890s through to the 1920s-ish. Sometimes the music is Canadian. I mean, you might get some Canadian rock and or roll there. Anyway. So we do that every live show. Give you a little peek at that. And then, of course, on Fridays here on the channel, you get some boots on the ground where guys just poking around here in Calgary and seeing what's what with old world buildings. Stuff that sticks out like a sore thumb. That old church shouldn't be there. Stuff like that. So without further ado, let's get into this thing here, shall we? Now it's saying bad gateway. That's not good. Why are you not letting me open it now? Now that we're live now, why are you doing that? Let's try it this way. Come on, interwebs. There we go. Quit playing. I was having problems there for a sec, but we're okay. We're fine. It's good. We're all good now. This is, as mentioned, the Buckland Family Collection from Digital Commonwealth, Massachusetts. Collections online. You know, over there in Boston there, where you put your car in the car park there. Sorry, that's terrible. Terrible Bostonian accent. So I thought we'd just kind of roll through. There's 700 of these. So, you know, again, link below if you want to have a look at this at your leisure. Leisure? I thought we'd at least have a look at a few here. What the heck's going on here? What are these fellas doing? And why is the interweb so slow? Come on now. Why are you doing this to me? Thanks for your patience, everybody. Baja is here. Riding a camel is very uncomfortable compared to a horse. Yeah, I would say probably. Look very what do I want to say? Bumpy? Jostly? They jostle. It's just not wanting to open. There we go. What's going on with these guys? Okay. Doesn't look fun for those guys, but all right. Oh yeah, here. It's camel. Yeah. Camel pulling a cart up here. Yeesh. You know what? I'm sorry, folks. I don't know why this is now taking so long. This is ridiculous. You know what? Let me do this here. Again, apologies. Sorry about that, eh, everybody? I'm not sure why it's being poopy. Quit being poopy. Yeah, it's just being real slow. This could really put a damper on things. Yeah, you know, that's probably what it is, right? Yeah, it's, you know, opening it in a new tab with what I have as bookmarked. It should just pop right up. And getting the wheel of torture. Right, let me try something else here. Yeah, it's just even the link I put in the box is saying bad gateway. You know what? I looked at this, I don't know, not even 2 days ago. Spent maybe, I don't know, 20 minutes scrolling through and just clicking on, you know, the odd random eye-catching photo. And now it's just being difficult. My apologies. So what we got here? This is interesting. So this I kind of expect to see. Okay, this is what we're told, right? It's China. There, you're going to see that stuff. Well, oh, okay. But, you know, arched with big wooden doors, almost looking like a medieval castle. You know, big giant stonework here. Not to mention the massive paving blocks or stones that this fellow, this old timer's treading on here. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to see next. I hit next. Get in the wheel again. Okay, you know what? This is some bullshit. There, I said it. I said it. This is dog shit.
Horse shit!
That too. That too. Yeah, thank you, Marie. Yeah, bad 502 bad gateway. Here we go. Finally. After all that, it's not even really, I mean, it's kind of cool, but it's not really that interesting, except for the fact that it's got lions up here. Some other kind of beasties. What is that? A dragon? Fish? I don't know what that is. Probably dragons, right? Because, you know, China.
That's racist!
Well, you know what I mean, right? This is futzing. Quit futzing around. Quit futzing around. Nice one, title. Oh, and a siren for you, too. Just add cast of confusion. This is going to give us I mean, ultimately, I'd like to just kind of scroll through and just click on some that are more interesting than others. You know, like we don't really need to, I mean, this is kind of cool, but, you know, I'd kind of like to look at Altar of Heaven here. What the heck's going on with this? But if it's going to take 15, oh, there we go, 10, 15 seconds to load. You're taking all the starch out of my collar, bub. What's going on with this thing? Now, this is all new to me. I'm not that familiar with China land, to be quite honest. Aside from 1970s bad kung fu movies and some good kung fu movies, but pretty much mostly bad. Oh, now train's going by. Well, train is like hearing the train. Altar of Heaven again. Bad gateway. Great. Quit it. Bad gateway. What is going on, man? I try to refresh it, which is going to take, 20 minutes. This is terrible. Great show, Frankie. Real great. Gripping. Apologies, everyone. Thanks for your patience. This is not fun. We may have to just abandon this and go on with something on the fly. Yeah, this is garbage. This is garbage. The hell with it. Absolute garbage. I'm not sure why that link isn't working for everybody, as shared in the description also. You know what? I'm going to copy it and paste it below again after the live. We'll see what's what, but yeah, we're just going to have to do something else here. Clear the cache and maybe the browser history. Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, thanks for your patience. Sorry about that. Let's shift on the fly here with this, because that's a bummer, man. Because there were some cool shots there, and I really talked it up. Terrific. Hey, let's how about we look at some of these old buildings here from the Canadian National Exhibition grounds. Canadian National Exhibition was the first of Canada's Dominion exhibitions, kind of like Canada's version of the World Fairs, but on a Canadian scale. And they were annually. And every year, a different city was chosen to host these Dominion exhibitions. And the first was the Canadian National Dominion exhibition in Toronto, Ontario, there in the T-Dot. So I've got an assortment, an accoutrement of photomographs here ranging from the 1870s, because I believe the first was 1879. You know what? Let's belay these photos here for a sec. Hold it. Hold it there. Hold it now. Let's instead go to the Wikipedia here and let's see what it says about the Canadian Dominion exhibitions. And then we'll have a look at the photographs. Well, since it's doing it bass backwards, let's see what Wikipedia says here. Dominion exhibition. The Dominion exhibition was an exhibition held annually in Canada land from 1879 to 1913. So yeah, then, you know, WW1 kicks off. I suppose everybody's old world fun. Every year, the federal government awarded the role of host of the exhibition to one of the country's larger fairs. The first was held in Ottawa in not Toronto. Ottawa in 1879, and the last in Brandon, Manitoba land in 1913. The outbreak of WW1 meant no designation was made for 1914, and it was not revived after the boom booms. And then there's a list of where they were. So Toronto was actually 1903, but it was on pre-existing fair grounds. They go back to the 1870s, 1880s. Calgary had one during the Rip-Roaring Calgary Stampede in 1908. Yeehaw there, partner! That's where they really helped drive home the narrative of the rootin' tootin' Wild West and the cowboys and the wild Injuns and the buffalo and whatnot out here in Purdy, Alberta. You know, just take your Oklahoma or Wyoming Wild West narrative and rubber stamp it here, and there you go. Robert's your mother's brother. But yeah, I had Brandon had one, Regina in Saskatchewan, St. John, New Brunswick. St. John had it twice. I think Montreal had it a couple times. Halifax had it a couple times. So yeah, there you go. I'll post the link for that later on after the thing too. Let me bookmark it while I remember it there, eh? So yeah, the Canadian Dominion exhibitions, you know, the Dominion of Canada, part of the Commonwealth, the British Commonwealth. Oh, I say, that's lovely, old chap. Spiffing, yes. What? Right. Tally-ho, then, yes. Tea, crumpets. Quite. You know, all that stuff.
That's racist!
Just saying. All right, now let's have a look at these photographs here. Boop-a-doop-boop-boop. So this is 1905. Part of the horse exhibition. Look at the size of this grandstand, by the way. That thing is pretty huge. Yeah, you get almost literally a dog and pony show here. It's quite nice, though. You know, back when everybody got dressed up. Even on a stinking hot, dusty day, watching horses run up and down a track. Wonder who these elite sons of guns are. Eh? Yeah, all the top hats, all the sashes and medallions and goofy hat club. The ladies with their... What kind of crazy style of hat is that? It's the ladies' version. It's the Victorian ladies' version of the sombrero. Or something. Here we got top hats and bowler hats. There's a bowler hat. There's a top hat. And then, yeah, I don't know who these guys are. Marching band? Sure. Okay. Canadian National Exhibition, the Dufferin Street entrance, 1908. Most of these photos are going to be City of Toronto archives. This big dome here in the background. What's going on with all this? What's going on here with all this jazz? With these little bobules and then this antennae, balls on the antennae too. This lazy son of a... Stand still, will you? Try to take an old-timey photo here, bub. The huge arched entrance. I was going to say electrified, but yeah, 08, sure. 1908. Lighter up by then, I would imagine. Even up here in the frozen tundra of Canada land, eh? Ooh. 1908 as well in this one. Why is the manufacturer's building always the largest building on the block? No matter whether it's a Dominion exhibition, a World's Fair, an American exhibition. Look at what these here newfangled machines can do. Better put them in the building that's the size of, I don't know, 8 football fields, 6 soccer pitches, football pitches, soccer. You know what I mean. Look at this fountain. The size of this thing. 1928. I don't know. Scribble it out. Put 1908, but put a question mark. So you can tell by the clothing. I think the 20s was probably the correct date. You've got skinny pants here. You've got these, I can't remember what these style of hats are. They're like the Great Gatsby hats. This guy's wearing spats. Almost looks like a zoot suit. The ladies are wearing more flowing, slightly more relaxed garments. They don't have the tight bustles and corsets. I think this is the scratched out date. It's more likely the 20s. Either way, impressive. It's all up in frozen Canada land, by the way. Some beautiful gardens. There's some tulips for you, Marit. I think those are tulips. I don't know. I'm not a botanist. They look like tulips, but this is very impressive. It does have some image on this cartouche. When I zoom in, and gets a little too pickleated, unfortunately. Not sure what the symbology is. It's a little too hard to make out. Very impressive, though. Okay. So these are all on the same grounds, the Canadian National Exhibition grounds in Toronto, right there on Lake Ontario. The size of this old-timey, I don't know if this is part of the roller coaster or if it's a different ride. Maybe the steeplechase ride or the shoot-shoots ride. I don't know. But there's an old-timey roller coaster there. This is 1915. Will you litter bugs pick up your trash, please? God, what do you come from, a bunch of orphanages or something? Oh, yeah, right. Sorry. You probably do. Sorry about that, eh? They look like they're having a blast, though. So you had permanent structures with permanent rides and permanent exhibitions. But then you also had temporary stuff, right? Depending on the weather and other, activities, right? Like some guy might have coming along in my flying machine. So they'll have a different area for that, and they'll have different vendors set up, tents or little temporary wooden stuff to hawk their wares. Get yourself a hot dog and a fresh orange juice, or maybe a frosty root beer or a sarsaparilla. 1918 Fire Hall Tower exhibition. So you didn't just find some old world building and declare it as being a fire hall tower and then say that you're just having it as an exhibition, did you? No, no, that's ridiculous. It's not, couldn't possibly be what's really going on here. Torque Train in the Box is Toronto, right across the lake from us here in Rochester. Actually had a high-speed ferry for a while to take us to Canada land. We're up to Canadanedia. Nice. Look at that. Thank you for that info. Yeah, that's right. Channel 53 says, how dangerous were those coasters, especially then? Hell, now. Yeah, apparently, people would do like they do now on roller coasters. They'd raise their hands in the air like they just don't care and scream as the roller coaster's shooting down, right? I mean, we've seen that in those interviews with old timers on the last couple of live streams. We had some watch parties. We watched Remembering Calgary and then Remembering Edmonton, a couple of PBS broadcasts from the 90s. People talking about post-war Calgary and Edmonton here in Purdy, Alberta. And crazy kids were doing that back then, back when they were kids in the 1920s. $1920. Look at the beautiful landscaping in the gardens. Different water features. You don't just, whack these things up. These things take time and planning. Huge amounts of staff, infrastructure. But look how long this must be. It's been sitting here. First of all, this tree is a good sized tree here and here. This thing is just covered in, I don't know, I'm assuming ivy. I don't know. Some big old world building that's been repurposed as, Parks Canada building for the exhibition grounds. At least in my opinion. Here it is from another angle. Again, the parks are just beautiful. Again, this is 1920. And you better believe right off Lake Ontario in Toronto, the winters are brutal, man. Think Chicago in the winter, okay? The wind blowing off Lake Michigan. Everybody freezing their bippy off. Same thing in Toronto. Wind coming off Lake Ontario. Come on, man. Come on, man. So you got to, they give you construction dates, and this was built in 3 years. Well, you got to actually see, well, actually, it was built in a year and a half because part of that 3 years was winter, and they really weren't doing any building. So, it should have taken them 6 years. But they say it was built in 3. But that means that they had to build it in a year and a half to add up to 3 years because of all the long winters. Old world Mi'kmaq in the box. Kwe Nida, good to see you. Hello there. All right, moving on here. See what we got. Oh, yes, the famous gates. These are actually the original old-timey gates. These are kind of, they're still very impressive, but these are kind of made more so they can, because every year, once they became annual to Toronto in terms of the exhibition itself being every year in Toronto, post-war, and it stopped being, different city every year, they would have different themes. This theme is obviously National Progress, 1922, the Roaring Twenties. Look at this beauty in the background. Big glass dome with all these dormers with little portals in them. Cupola with all this tech on the top. Amazing. Ah, yes. Birthplace of Toronto, this old fort. This photo's from 1925. This is like some coach house or something now, part of the exhibition grounds. But yeah, apparently when they first landed and planted the flag and said, yeah, this here's going to be Toronto land up here in Canada, this was the spot. So they've commemorated it with this weirdo looking cylindrical obelisk. I don't know. I've never seen anything like that. It's very unusual. Of course, you got to point a few cannons out to the water. That shows you that, they were protecting this here little log cabin. 1749. Fort Rouy. In 1825, there's that domed building again. There's a fountain. I mean, some of these trees, they have been there a while, man. Look at the size of the tree trunk on this compared to there's a car. There's somebody's mode of transportation. That's a big ass tree. This place been here a long time. Excuse me, I don't have the name of this building, but yeah, the day doesn't really matter. I mean, you could Google it on the goggle machine anyways. Statues and pillars with these capitals and the Phoenician capitals on the top. All of this inlay design. It's here, but you can see it's also here, so it's probably on four sides. Dome with a cupola with a dome. Just nuts. And then all the tech. What the heck is this? What is that? I don't know. Big statues on here too. Of course, they're going to eventually knock those off. Those statues, they got to come down. There's really low windows here, which means this has a lower level. So this goes down. So the support structure for this thing, this would be a major project. They're not just whacking this up for some fair up in Canada land so people can hawk their beaver pelts and maple syrup. I mean, there, look at this. Look at this gate. Look at this. It's like a triumphal arch, but then they've just added these, what are these called? Balustrades? No. Palisades. Is that right? Palisades, maybe? I don't know. See how huge it is, because there's the guy, one of the guards. Oh yeah, and by the way, yeah, there's that door goes in, so you can go into this thing. Nephilim Gate could be. Yeah, this is still here. That's still in Toronto. Here it is from the front. Look at that. Who are you? What's all this? What's this, a camel? What the Sam Steele does that have to do with Canada land? A camel? You're not going to put a grizzly bear or a timber wolf? No, I'm going to put a camel. Yeah, okay, sure. That makes a lot of sense, I guess. Nope, not at all. What is all this, by the way? Those are flagpoles. No, that's a flagpole. There it is right there. There's where you up the flag. There's your little thing. You raise the flag. What's going on over here? Darn, gets too pickly. This guy's holding somebody's... Somebody fainted? Somebody's deleted? What's going on here? So this used to be a bridge for the... I think it was actually shared by the railroad and the tram, the streetcar trolleys. I think it was shared. But they since made it pedestrian only in this photo in 37. Look at all this song and dance. Fancy. $1937. It's also 37. Huge crowds, man. Wow. This guy's, yeah. Hey, buddy, you can't bring your car in here. Can't you see you're fixing to run over all these fair-going people? They're just trying to get their cotton candy so that they have something to upchuck out of their stomachs when they go on that there old roller coaster. I have no idea what's going on with this thing. It looks like some giant device. I don't know what. Giant rivets on it. All these beams or points coming down. And what's with all this? Looks like a whole bunch of, I don't know, tuning forks or I don't even know. I'm spitballing. I have no idea. But these you can go into as well, because here, look, there's windows or something here. Looks like there's glass in these. See? So these doors aren't just, guard stations where the guy just stands in here. Like, you can go up into this thing. Crazy looking thing. Sungate. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely gives off that impression, doesn't it? This being the sun and this being the rays of the sun. But does it have a practical purpose? Or is it merely imagery? I don't know. There's columns and arches with keystones. Little bijou balconies here with Venetian shell design underneath. 1946 in this photo, but already looking like, it could use a bit of a fixer-upper. Looking very aged. What's going on here with this crappy wood? Maybe it is being looked after. But again, here you got some kind of relief carvings or something. Swirly stuff and, I don't know, some kind of leaf design. Very interesting. Okay, so this is the Crystal Palace. Which one, Frankie? Well, the Canadian Crystal Palace in Toronto. Again, I ask you, which one, Frankie? Because, oh yes, that's right. The original one was built on the original old site in the 1880s, then was dismantled and moved to the present site of where the Canadian National Exhibition is in Toronto now. and then got destroyed in a fire. It burnt down. A crystal palace of iron and glass burnt to the ground. Say, Frankie, that sounds familiar. Yeah, just like the London Crystal Palace in London, England, that was erected, then moved piece by piece and re-erected, and then destroyed by fire. So this is 1884. This is the original Crystal Palace. Now, there was a second one that was rebuilt afterwards, which looks a little different than this. You can see how this tower is on a 45-degree angle compared to the face or the frontage of the building. You see, it's been given a quarter turn. If you see what a fella is saying here. Here it is again here. This photo apparently from 1895. This, by the way, big tower is one of those I've always referred to them as moonlights. No, yeah, moon towers. Excuse me, moon towers, where they would use the light of the moon to illuminate, your town square, your city, your town square in your city or town. Back in pre-electric Victorian era. And I think that's what this was one of those moon towers. You have to excuse the quality of this photo. This is from 1905. Again, you can see how this tower has been given what looks like a quarter turn. Howdy, PCS world. Good to see you. Thanks for shooting in there, eh? That is the last photomograph I got in this file, I believe, in this folder. Yes, it is. So there you go. A quick look at at least the specifically the Toronto's Canadian National Exhibition, born out of the Canadian Dominion exhibitions. So I think with that, where are we at here? Coming up on 1 hour. So I think what I'll do here is take a quick mid-show break, give you a sneak peek at your upcoming midweek vintage footage. This has nothing to do with what the original topic of the show was supposed to be, old-timey China from 100 years ago, nor does it have anything to do with old Canada from 100 years ago. This footage is from 100 years ago. It's a post-flood footage of, let me see here. 1920 flood footage out of England. It's just over 2.5 minutes long. So I'm going to get that ready for you, and we'll see you on the other side of 2.5. All right. Thanks again for sticking with me here through all this goofy tech issues. Really appreciate it. So yeah, stick around. Be right back. Cheers. All right, and we are back. Hello. Howdy, everybody. Frankie here, New West Reset. New West Reset Live, episode 109. Thanks for joining me here. Really appreciate it. Appreciate you shooting in and winding down your weekend here with yours truly on this Sunday fun day. Thanks for sticking with me here from the top half of the show. Really appreciate it. Just coming back from a sneak peek at your vintage footage. 1920 post-flood footage of, I believe that was Lincolnshire, England. So thank you for joining me. Hi-ho! Sherry Ives, hi-ho indeed. Sherry Ives is here. Rothrods is in the box. Dean is here as well. Our buddy Vaughn. Howdy, Vaughn. Hippie Shake. Kathy Broughton is here. Torque Train. Wiley Metz is here as well. Thanks all of you for joining me here. Appreciate it. Eric's here from Lost and Found History Rewritten. PCS World. I saw Cousin Vinny in here too. He's lurking around somewhere. Channel 53. Good to see you. Phil Henry's here as well. So yeah, thanks for winding down your weekend, everybody. So let's stick with England here. I've got a little bit of a file. This is from, we're going to keep on with the theme from George Prokopenko. Okay, George sent me what was originally supposed to be the theme of the show, a link to Massachusetts Digital Archives. And they had glass plate photo negatives of photos of China from 1923 and 24. But that's not working so well. So I'll double check that link and I'll still keep it down below in the description just in case. But we ended up looking at the Canadian National Exhibition in Toronto. Photos from the early 1900s through to just sort of the post WW2. Then we looked at some old photographs of the original Crystal Palace in Toronto that was moved and then rebuilt and then burnt down. And then they built a new one. But along with George Prokopenko, this was a file that he sent me a while back. This is in London, England. These are old theaters in England. And I think most of these are in London. So, again, on the fly here. And again, apologies for that link not loading quickly and not loading very well. Let's face it, it stinks. It wasn't the best. So let's see what I've got here. Some of these are going to be, I think actually most of these are modern photographs. So high resolution, high definition photos, so we can really zoom in. And if you're from, across the pond in London land, old-timey Londinium, which I think a lot of these are in, don't be afraid to chime in the box there and let us know what's going on there, eh? Let me see here. All right, here we go. So this is it right here, I think. Yes, the London Trocadero Theatre. Wow. Oh, there's your lions. Of course, lions. Some kind of, they would tell us is a little cherub face, maybe. I don't know. A couple of quills, because, theater, I guess. Wizard of Oz. This is a Palladium, obviously. Wow. Creepy and slightly off-putting faces up here, but yeah, nice details on it. Again, I'm not sure what a lot of these are. Wow, it's sort of a beautiful red stone. Whatever it is, it's showing Aladdin, so there, there's that. Wow, look at all this detail up here. And these, again, very off-putting faces. Looks like horns. Some kind of Beelzebub devil face. Great. What the hell is this? A lion, maybe? Yeah, it's a lion. Of course, you gotta have your lions on all the old world buildings for some reason. It's the Coliseum Theater, I think. More lions. Look at this. Like as if you're walking by on the street, on the sidewalk. Or you're catching a cab or a taxi here to see something. Or you just, I don't know. Yeah, you look up, you're not even going to see this, man. You're not going to see this. The lion's paw on the sphere. His paw? His hoof? His foot? The paw.
So, Tommy, where have you been, huh? I've been watching Newest Reset. Huh? Oh, it's Newest Reset. It's just thing on YouTube. He goes around, he does his boots on the ground thing. They'll tell you.
More little cherubim or something. It's just like, wow, man. Compare that to, your local theater today, where you go and see a stage show. I'm not talking movie theater, live stage play. Nice interior shot here. Wow, look at that. Some kind of stone or geopolymer of something. I don't think that's turned wood, is what I'm getting at. I reckon that's some kind of stone or geopolymer of some kind. Wood's not good enough, I guess. Oh, this is, I guess, supposed to be marble panels or something. Wow. You go, 1, 2, I guess 1, 2, 3 floors, really, but you've got a mezzanine level here. Yeah, that's right. Jesse Nix in the box says some of these buildings could make you go insane with all the detail. Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, I would agree, Phil Henry. That's an interesting building. Yep. Indeed. Torque Train says, folks, frankly, I gotta hop in the shower, gotta catch the podcast a bit later. It's good to see everyone. Well, cheers. Thanks for shooting in, bud. Appreciate it. Even just, the dental moldings and all the cornice work and just all of this, these sort of rosettes, all of this inlay, just incredible, man. Just layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. Just to go and watch a Streetcar Named Desire or Phantom of the Opera. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever people were watching back when this was built. Faust or whatever they were watching back then. I don't know. Look at this. And all these bobules and stuff. Man. Sure, gotta have a few more lions. Why not? Magnificent, man. Absolutely magnificent. Look, here's just one of your balconies with a big, huge, tall ceiling, and then this sort of semicircular, almost section of a dome, almost, you know? Wow. Just amazing, right? You know, once the show starts, they dim the lights. I mean, you're not going to see any of this. Look at this. I mean, this is a theater. This isn't the inside of some state capitol building or some church or some building in the Vatican. You know what I'm saying? This is just reading a Figaro, or whatever. Amazing. Again, the horrific faces all around here looking down at you. Yeez. Another look at these balconies. Yeah, of course, you gotta have shields. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Look at this, man. Incredible. Oh, okay. So this has been the inside of that Colosseum. I mean, it's not enough to have, you know, one guy in a chariot being towed by 3 lions. You know, you gotta have 2 of them. And the symbology in this place is next level. It's over the top, man. Okay, there's a different theater now. Oh, they got the Harry Potter's is. Right, sure. Alakazam and whatnot. Yes, quite lovely. You know, because this is really easy to do, right? Just do all these angles rather than just building a straight facade. I'm just going to have all these angles. I'm not sure if it's the photograph or if there's a slight curvature to the building as well. If that's the case, then, you know, you get a few more points on the gobsmack scale. This thing looking really out of place, even in London. Griffins on here with, I think that might be a little crown or something. But you just got all this stuff. This is just incredible. What's going on here? I don't know. A lot of symbolism, a lot of symbology, a lot of iconography. Still something in this cartouche as well. Looks like a winged figure, a winged lady. the previous one here, right? Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. It kind of looks that way. Yeah, it's impressive. Impressive. It's again, Kathy just able to sum it up so succinctly. Just wow. Yeah, just wow. No, there's no Peter. There's no Peter Griffins up there. Nah. No, just regular Griffins. Even just the lighting in here. Get out of my face with this chandelier, will you? So you mean to tell me at one time these bulbs that are designed to look like candles were candles? And it was somebody's job about an hour before they opened the doors to the theater and let the patrons in. They would lower this because it would be on a chain or something. And somebody would light all these candles. You'd still need a step ladder so you could reach the top portion. And then they would raise it back up again. And wouldn't the earlier candles start burning out before the last of the candles that you lit? Unless you had like a staff of 12 all kind of running around this thing like a bunch of candle lighting jackasses. I mean, it's beautiful. But wow. Yeah, this is silly, man. This is just outrageously over the top beautiful. And again, lights out during the show, so you're not really going to see a lot of this. This is for, when you're filing in. And then, the orchestra is doing its, what do they call it? Warming up, tuning up, whatever they call that. Then you get your intermission. And the lights will go up a bit so you could go out and, I don't know, smoke your pipe or your cigar, whatever people did back then. Get a cup of tea. And come back. And then after the show, that's the only time you would see these. So the rest of the time they're in darkness or semi-darkness. It seems like a lot for that. I'm just saying. It's kind of a crummy shot, but this would be like the VIP seats. This would be where, your fat cats and powers who should not be would be sitting during some show, I reckon. Excellent question. PCS World asking who cleaned up all that wax, from all them, hundreds of candles in every chandelier. Chassis Nick says, it doesn't have to make sense. It's our history. Yes. Indeed. And again, I agree with Hippie here. I mean, I sound like I'm making fun of it. I am appreciative of its aesthetic beauty. It is beautiful. I just call into question the story behind a lot of what we're given with this stuff, this was built in, 5 years, and it used to be lit by candles back before electricity, and, it'll seat 20,000 people, even though the population was only 100,000, or something, it's like really, 1/5 or 1/4 of your city would go, okay, What's going on here? Marit, hidden at plain sight. Hey, Frankie, did you hear this today? Wilhelminatoren in Volkenberg spontaneously collapsed. I did not hear that. I did not hear that at all. And pardon me for stumbling over that pronunciation, by the way. Dragon Sage, howdy. Dragon Sage in the box, how's she going, eh? Like even for, the nose pickers, like this guy. I mean, it's pretty fancy. At the ceiling. I think there's a shot of the ceiling I grabbed. And all this different colored lighting kind of spoils it for me, to be honest with you. But I'll tell you, the shittiest seat in the house is right here. It's the crappiest seats in the house. You're like, I can only see stage right. That's all I see. Paid good money for these tickets. Yeah, see, I'm not a fan of this lighting. Let's make it all purple and red and pink and whatnot. Just leave it. But it's actually distracting. It's distracting from this. People would raise a huge stink if they knock this down. So they got to downplay it. They dummied it down. There was probably statues all over this thing, like we saw in other examples. But they got to leave. They can't really take all of it away. People start to notice. So instead, they distract it by, let's project these lights on here because the play inside is about whatever. So we'll have that kind of theme projected onto the building. I'd much rather it look like this. Yeah. Just let it be. A couple of griffins here, and then you've got your two-headed phoenix or some two-headed bird of some kind with the crown. I can't remember what that is a symbol of. Somebody in the box in the chat will know, I'm sure. It represents some group or some family. Is it the Medicis or something? I can't remember. Some of these, this might actually be Russian theater, because I think you've got something there about how Russian royalty. Oh, howdy, Morgan. Isabella Live 2.0. Good to see you. Yeah, you're right. Channel 53 says I guarantee that building got a haircut. Yeah, a lot of them did, I bet. Yeah, I think, yeah, because this is what the Ruska flag here, is it not? So this is a Russian theater. Oh, yeah. Duh. All I got to do is look at this. Okay. Don't know what that is. Don't know what that says. I don't speak Russian. And that was a terrible, terrible fake Russian accent. So we jumped from London, England to somewhere in Ruskaland. Nice fountain, by the way. I was so hung up on this that I almost missed this. And this is beautiful. Just incredible, man. Incredible. Even all this nonsense in the background, too, is just quite lovely, you know? These windows down here raise some questions, but, you know, that's par for the course. Is that it? That's the end of the file, I think. Looks that way. Yep. That is it. So old theaters in England and in Ruskaland. Etruscan. Aha. Let's see, what else have I got here? Again, kind of shooting from the hip, because the interwebs bamboozled me. Maybe, you know what, now that I've said that, let's just try that link again here and see what we can do with that Buckland family photo glass negative collection. Just for shits and giggles. I'm just going to scroll through here and see if it's giving me that damn wheel. The wheel, you know, the blue wheel. Yeah, we're loading. We're loading. No, you're not. You're not loading. Yeah, no, it's not doing nothing. All right. Well, we tried. Let's see if I've got anything else. In the meantime, I did release that teaser, the teaser trailer for my upcoming, I guess you'd call it a documentary, my upcoming film regarding my theory on the most recent reset out here in southwestern Canada and the Pacific Northwest of the United States. But if you didn't get a chance to see it, let me share that here with you real quick.
About a heaven in Alberta, where they've got all hell for a basement.
Yeah, so there it is. And like it says in the teaser there itself, coming out this summer. So keep your ocular sphericals locked in onto the channel here for that there, buddy. And, you know, do all the things down here so you don't get the notifications that you're supposed to get, but they don't seem to work. Where are we at here? Hour and 20 minutes? Geez, that's short. It's short. I don't like it. Let's go back to old time Canada land here. And let's take a few more minutes and have a look at some old photographs. I mean, that's what initially we came here for. So these are going to be old photographs of Canada land. 1920 Queen Street. Photo taken from, not of, from the old City Hall. Look at this beauty here. Even this one next to it. And you got your crappy signage. Bovril beef bouillon cube. Yeah, great. It's nice. Here's the Colonial Theater. Oh, sticking with our theater theme here. This big, huge entrance. I wonder what these little things do. This photo's from 1950, but this is a beautiful old fire hall. Or at least that's what they're telling us it is. Who knows what it was before it was renovated. It's actually your police station and fire hall. Sometimes they put them both in one. Sometimes it'd be your city hall with the police station and fire hall. But sometimes it'd be your city hall and post office with your police station and fire hall. Because I guess they couldn't make up their minds when they were trying to redesignate the building. But, you know, as if this tower wasn't enough with this on it, then they got to put a tower on top of that with a clock. Either that or these are bells. So they have a bell and clock tower. It's pretty impressive. This is on Dundas Street. Dragon Sage in the boxes I've hung out there. We're here or here. Is this place still there? I mean, I suppose it could be, but I'd be shocked if it was. This is a Huron Street School in Tirana, I believe. That's because you need all that in your school. Just incredible. What's going on down here? Oh, in here, in here, in here. Okay, sure. It's the Banff Springs Hotel. 1886. Yes, that's men in kilts playing the bagpipes. It's Canadian. Ish. I mean, obviously brought over by the Scottish, but you know. Yeah, this is one of the famous Canadian railroad hotels. The railroad built this. They could barely afford to finish the transcontinental Canadian Railroad, but you know, at the same time, they're barely able to get the darn thing built. They're also, you know, building those huge mountain castles. I mean, hotels. Basilica of Our Lady Immaculate, built in 1876. Again, Dundas Street. This looks kind of funny sloped here, but I mean, this thing is just incredible. That's how we like to do it up here in Canada, eh? Because we have such an inferiority complex. We're so big, it's so sparsely populated that we feel like we're so insignificant. So we got to overcompensate with, you know, crazy stuff like that. What an incredible structure. The Canadian Museum of Nature, supposedly built in 1881. Castle. It's a museum, so, you know, what can you redesignate the building that looks like a castle? Well, you could either call it a museum or an armory or maybe a prison. Got some limited options because, you know, especially in Canada, you can't really call it a castle unless you use the French word for castle, chateau. That's okay because it's exotic. It helps with the French Canadian culture portion of Canada. But surely they didn't have palaces in Canada. Palaces and castles. No, we just had, you know, museums and armories. Here's the original Canadian Parliament building, supposedly built in 1866. That's when they started construction, anyway. We weren't even a country yet, officially, till 1867, but we'll start building our national capital building in anticipation of, I guess. Now this one, you know, burnt down. So they reused some of the original floor plan foundation, you know, post fire and rebuilt it, but it looks different now. It's how it looks today. But it definitely had a much more interesting and very, very unique look to it. It still does. But Cathedral of St. James, supposedly built in 1850. That's pretty early on in the Canadian narrative. No matter where you are in Canada land, it's pretty early in our narrative. Especially with building stuff like this. And it's pretty big. Let me give you an idea. There's the people down here. So this thing is, there's your door, right? So this thing's massive. St. James Roman Catholic Cathedral. Cathedral of Mary of the Queen of the World, supposedly built in 1870. I may be mistaken, but I think this is actually in Montreal. There's the, well, here's the one you're allowed to call a castle, but only in French, Chateau, the famous Chateau Frontenac in Quebec City. And those of you that are no stranger to the channel know that we've explored Quebec City, or at least dedicated portions of some of the live shows to exploring Quebec City. It's definitely an old star city, with the chateau being the citadel of the old star city. They will go so far as to admit that, yeah, it was an ancient walled city. They started building it in, the 1600s and whatnot. But they won't admit that it's a, it was a star city. But yeah, you're allowed to call this a castle, as long as you say it in français. This photo's from 1930. I just like the old train. And of course, this beautiful world bugger in the background. I think this is in Toronto, the Canadian National Railroad. Of course, you get all these questionable fat cats. Confederation Life Building, built in 1890. Got all the crappy telegraph wires in front of it, but you could still get a really good sense of the flavor of this thing. And look at this. This thing is huge, man. It's just so beautifully adorned and embellished. What is this? I don't know. Some kind of beastie. Looks like a hyena or something. I have no idea. I have no idea what that is. Oh, we've looked at this in the past before as well. Craig de Rock Castle. Well, I guess you're allowed to call this a castle. So I stand corrected. Built in 1887. I believe this was in Ontario. This reminds me of the Lougheed House here in Calgary. Very similar, with this rough-hewn stone, and then all of these conical domes. But this has all of these little bijou balconies, and this one's got sort of a shell design to it. And you've got all this nonsense here. And don't forget the capitals, because you got to have capitals on these columns that just hold up your balcony or your veranda. Why? Because it's all made of stone. Look at this. Come on, man. This would be like a state house where, when diplomats from other countries would come to visit Canada land, they would stay in this place. I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was a government house. Kathy says, that's my house. Yeah, and it's beautiful. It is beautiful. Oh, you've been here. Vincent says, I've been to Craig Darroch. So where is it? Is it in Ontario or Quebec? Looks like it came from Sears catalog. Came from an Eaton's catalog. What's going on here? Oh, yeah. What's in Victoria? Oh, okay. I was way off. I was at a completely wrong end of the country that's 3,000 miles wide. Sous le Cap Street in Quebec. Oh, yeah. Let's get their little pedway built. And then they even built one on top. That's pretty efficient. Just got to watch you don't bump your head when you're going underneath. Oh, yeah, this is the funicular at Mount Royal Park, Montreal. Supposedly they built this in 1874. I like this photo because you got your horse and buggy going underneath as this goes up. Some of these are neglected to label very well, but look at this thing. This is probably Toronto. The interior of it's like I think it was a tobacconist's. It's a tobacco shop. If memory serves, cash register. Your shelf fell over there, you lazy some bitch. Quit posing for photos and fix up your shop there, shopkeep. The hell's this? Some kind of crazy drink machine? Some kind of fountain drink machine. $1,900. Ojibwe people. Obviously in a photographer's studio, but I don't know what happened to this train, but this is some kind of boiler explosion. Imagine standing next to that thing when it went off. Yowza. Again, you'll have to excuse the lack of labeling. I have no idea where this is. But these are all really, quite old photographs here. 1880s, 1890s, up to, the 20s. Whoops, what happened? I lost it. Sorry, let me pull that back up again. How are we doing on time anyways? Just over an hour and a half. All right. Is this all right? You enjoying the pivot that we had to do? Pivot. Yeah, some of these I labeled and some of them I crashed and burned terribly with the labeling. All right, here we go. The Langevin Block, 1883. So in these dormers here. Got all of this fancy work, and then you've got, I don't know, some kind of carving here. You've got this too. Not to mention, you know, all this fancy nonsense. This place is quite exquisite. Again, with that really severely angled mansard style roof on this. Even in here, you know. Built in 1883. Look at this fence, by the way. So obviously built on some kind of angle, because here's a guy on a horse and buggy kind of coming up, and it looks like it's angled a little bit. Might just be the perspective, but yeah, what a beauty. I don't know what the heck all this shenanigans is, though. Wow. What happens when you're mud flooded? Just cover it in boards, bud. Then you're pretty good there, eh? Little Champlain Street, Quebec City, 1916. Really? You can't pave the road by 1916? It's still so crappy and crummy that you just have it as a wooden street, do you? All right. Not sure what's going on here, because it looks like we have brick. Then we've got what looks like some other kind of masonry, and then we've got brick again. Looks like schmutz here. It's fallen away. Repairs, maybe? I don't know. Added a whole second floor onto this thing at some point out of brick. Couldn't tell you. Montreal City Hall, built in 1878. One, two, three, four, five. Say 5 floors. I mean, you have extra space in here, but and all this, but 5 floors. And then look at your wind catchers here. These pediments above your dormers. You can't just have dormer with a little roof. No, you got to make it like a pediment over the. I mean, this thing is amazing. Amazing. Different levels, depending on what, you know, which entrance, what street. Depends on what level. They'll call this the first floor here, but so then what's this? Is this the first floor here? Or is this the second floor here? You know what I mean? New Brunswick Customs House. 1881 they built this. What is that?
Let me ask you something. How come you asking so many jackassy questions?
Right. Of course. Sorry. Nothing to see here. Let's move along. This is very distinctively Canadian now, you know. The hotels, the train stations, the parliamentary buildings in Ottawa. But really, we see it everywhere. It's just you paint it green, or you make it out of green slate, or whatever. It's Canadian. Holy crap, what happened on this street? This is the Notre Dame de Quebec chapel. missing the date on this, but it's the 1880s or 1870s this was built. It's beautiful. And look at this tower. I mean, you got something in here. I don't know if this is a wind catcher or the bells or what. Then you have here, but then here too. Old Galt Post Office. Old World Meat Box. New Brunswick. More like Old Brunswick, am I right? Yes, indeed. Look at this place. We're looking very gingerbreadish, eh? Beautiful with all this coining. This again, I'm guessing is, at least it appears to be stone. But these are some head scratchers. Beautiful. Old City Hall clock tower. Toronto, I believe. It's hard to tell, but it looks like we might have an IV instead of 4 lines. Look at these little conical domes coming out of these little bits here. And then what the hell are they? Tell us, so that's the, for drainage from, let rain or melted snow water, drain. I don't know. They're obviously some kind of weird protrusion, some gargoyle of some kind. This is quite lovely too. Look at this. Very nice. Ontario Legislative Building. Just one of the legislative buildings. 1886. We're going to have these sort of squished dome things going on here. We've got all of this. I don't know who this lady is, but okay. Queen Victoria, they'll tell us, or something. Oh, here, look, we got some people. Nice. Hello, ladies. Lovely day. All these weird tower things with all these little nodes on them. I don't know, man. What's going on here? Where's the roof or the roof on this place? Don't know. This thing's covered in ivy too, I've just noticed. And also down here. Hello. Yeah, well, you know how we do it up here in Canada land, eh? 4 domes and a pyramid. Sure, why not? Why not? Yeah, it's not Ontario. It's on Ontarian, not Ontarioian. This is Place Viger. This is Montreal. This is the Place Viger Hotel and the train station. I'll give you a second to wipe the drool off your chin and to give your eyes a rub. I'm sure you won't be surprised to hear that, once again, Montreal in Canada is not exactly a tropical environment. You're only going to be doing the outer portion of this construction, at least, during the more favorable temperatures. June to maybe October. Any earlier than June, it's too wet from rains and from, melted snow in the spring. And any later than October, and, well, it starts snowing because it's wintertime. Just an incredible structure, man. I mean, sure, you need all those conical domes. Every single one of them you need. Don't forget the pyramids, like Eric said. The Hotel Chateau Normandy. The photo's from 1949. But this is the old Chateau Normandy in Quebec City. Look at this. Again, the coining down the side too. Lovely. Built on an angle as well. So it's the street level is higher here than it is going down the side toward the back of the building. Yeah, sure. Because that's easy back in the day to build that. Annie McCoy showing hundreds of postcards at the Charlottetown store, Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island. I just like the beautiful, huge arches here in this doorway with the transom window above it. But then it also appears to have what looks like an arched window above that. And then, of course, whatever is going on here and here is bricked in windows. I don't know. Maybe. Some of these shops, the bottom of their display window floor was here. And these were actually open windows that would let light down into the lower floor. I don't know if that's necessarily the case here or not, but there's the Quebec Legislative Building in Quebec City, the capital of the province of Quebec. And this has, a lower entrance in this circular nonsense. What are you ne'er-do-wells doing? Standing there with your arms crossed. Get back to work. Can't see the numbers on the clock on that one. Look at this thing, even all down the side here. So, how far down does all this nonsense go? Right? Because it's obviously up on a mound or a hump. Ravenscraig. Somewhere here in Canada. Again, apologies for the lack of specificity. Barely got that word out. Look at this, by the way. Yeah, we got all this going here in your house. Because why not? They've got their own atrium and arboreum. Maybe they have an animal menagerie in there. Who knows what the hell's going on over here? And you got all this down here. It's kind of interesting. More than likely, one of them is a greenhouse. But you could see that it looks like there's tree growing in here. Maybe it might be the reflection of one of these trees. I don't know. I wish it was a clearer photograph so you could see what's in here. But like rich folks would have had, a greenhouse with flowers and vegetable garden in there, and all that sort of thing. But then they would have had an arboreum. They would have had like trees. And some of them had like a little personal mini zoo or an aviary. I've got like 87 birds. Because I'm some rich guy. So I just built a large atrium with a glass dome on it inside of my house. Robert Simpson department store. Simpsons that eventually became Sears. This building was built in 1895. This. You know, where you go to buy bed sheets and pots and pans, you know, and wooden crates and what, you know. New pair of dungarees and some breeches. I don't know. It's nuts, man. St. Lawrence Hall in Toronto. Lyman Brothers and Company druggists, of course. Look at this nonsense. Not to mention all of this. You know, back when wrought iron was, you know, wrought iron. Yikes. I just love how they slap these crappy signs on these beautiful buildings. You know, shave. Yeah, because this was intended to be, it was built as, you know, it's a place that has a tobacco shop and a place where you could get tea and a shave. We get linseed oil paint. Okay, great. What a beauty. The Scottish Ontario Chambers, built in 1893. It's got a CP railway ticket office in it. Oh, this is funny how it's starts way up here and goes down and then keeps going down. So what starts off as windows here ends up being door-sized here. And where there was nothing here, you have a door and windows, or maybe a door. Maybe these are steps down to doors. I don't know. It's utter nonsense. Because then here's what I was talking about. So here's your display window for your business. So you go up some stairs to get in, but underneath the display windows, these windows actually let light down into the lower floors. There's a couple of buildings in Calgary that still have these here. Cousin Vinny and I looked at one in Bridgeland. Shaughnessy House, built in 1875. There you go. There you go, Kathy. There's your greenhouse for you. My goodness, look at this. Fancy schmancy. Even all this wave in this, I mean, carving or relief or whatever it is. I mean, you know, the dental molding, the dog tooth or sawtooth, beautiful on its own, but then, you know, this sort of wave, extravagant. I mean, this is just some guy's house. Ah, it's my house. St. Paul's Cathedral in London, Ontario, built in 1846. That's this one, by the way. I know there's another church right here, because you need churches across the street from each other. Of course. But this thing was built in 1846. What in the Sam Steele's going on here? And here. This, sure, yeah, we see that all the time. Okay. But I mean, this nonsense it's wacky. I mean, this in its own right has a lot of bobules on it. St. James, St. Lawrence. This is, I don't know what this is, 1900s. St. James, St. Lawrence. Okay, those are two streets in Montreal. So this is maybe some kind of agricultural expo, or it's a farmer's market. It looks like it might be some kind of exhibition. They're really pushing the Macintosh red apples here out of Eastern Ontario. Boy, howdy, I tell you what. Look at this. Look at this thing. I think they built this to hawk some apples and some broccoli or whatever the hell's going on here. This is like an airship hangar or something. I mean, this is overbuilt for what they're using it for. Even if it's some kind of what they would call a drill hall or an assembly hall or a market square. It's so overly engineered for what's it's being used for. It had to have some other purpose. I say airship hangar, but that's just me. I like the wacky light fixtures, though. Okay, we'll look at a couple more here. We're just at 2 hours. Extracting syrup. It's from the Minnesota Museum of Minnesota, but this is a photo taken in Canada. I believe this is the teens. This is a fine Indigenous lady. So this is probably Quebec. Could be New Brunswick. Yeah, I mean, this is the really old way of doing it. It looks like she's made a spout out of wood, and she's tapped the maple tree with a sort of a shaft of wood. It's got a little bit of like a crevice carved down the center of it, and she's using it as a spout, and then she's just collecting it in these leather totes. And then she's going to get her dog to help her. I'm sorry. Apologies. I'm not sure where in Canada this is. This may be Toronto or Ontario, somewhere in Ontario. I'm guessing Toronto. Look at the fountain, man. Look at this thing. Absolutely incredible structure. And it's part of a larger structure, it looks like. And then this in the background with all the nodes on it. Come on, man. Oh yeah, for sure the natives knew what they were doing. That's where the European settlers, most especially the French Canadians, that's where they learned to harvest, the maple sap to make maple sugar and maple syrup. I mean, you didn't need to import, sugar from the Caribbean or from the southern United States through, the ports of New Orleans or anything like that, up into Montreal or into Toronto or various ports in Canada land. Nah. You just make maple sugar instead of cane sugar. They also make maple syrup. You can put it on your flapjacks, your pancakes, your waffles, your French toast, your bacon. Put it on your donuts. Put it on your bran muffin. Hell, you could put it on your wife or husband or whatever. Right? It's maple syrup. It's good on everything. Put it on your special friend. Anyways. The Thomas Fuller Building, built in 1886. I love this fountain here. Again, you can see built on quite a slope or an angle. Beautiful, roughly hewn stone, and again, all that coining with the smoother stone. Looks like these are those little rosettes. You got some kind of nonsense in here too. Wow, man. These are stairs that go up and across and back down. Sure. Okay. Oh, of course. Yeah, of course it's the post office. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and the customs office. Yeah, okay. Sure. This is 1884 here, but it was labeled 1886. So, okay. That's fine. Look at this. I love this shot. Look how wide the streets are. As crummy as they are, and then you can see here there's your level of tech, horse and wagon, but you do have the electric tram or streetcar trolley back here. Crummy, dirty roads, but wide enough to accommodate 2 lanes of horse and wagon on either side of a streetcar going up and down the middle. It's like they were clairvoyant when they were laying out the streets. Trolleys and trams are going to be coming through here soon enough. We better make them nice and wide. Oh, for sure, buddy. We can take care of that for you, eh? Groceries on this little underneath this weird. It's obviously repurposed cigar factory. Yeah, okay. So you want a mansard roof with dormers on a cigar factory. Could be. Channel 53 saying that's filled in door where those steps are. Yeah, and I do see something funny here. Could very well be. That would make sense. Toronto City Hall, 1899, pre-clock tower, or pre-clock in the tower. So I don't know if this is supposed to be a construction photo or what, but it's a pretty crummy photo. And it looks like it's been vanilla skied as well. Toronto Star Building, newspaper building. It's this one here. A little bit more in the, they would label as Art Deco, perhaps. But again, the fanciest is way at the top where you're just sitting here in this tram, the streetcar trolley, commuting to work. You might actually just so happen to be reading a copy of the Toronto Star newspaper as you roll past this, but you're not going to see all of this. Even if you stopped reading the paper and actually looked up, you're not going to see that. Who's that for? Is that for airships coming in as they circle the city and come in and hook up so that, you could admire the city from above and from street level? I don't know. University of Tirana. Looking like something out of the Ottoman Empire or Turkey or, I don't know, one of them stand places. Uzbekistan or Turkmenistan or, one of them. But nope. The T dot, Toronto, Ontario. Crazy. Love this building, Vancouver Island Colony Legislative Building. So when Vancouver was still a colony and British Columbia had not yet joined Confederation of Canada, this was the legislative building they decided to build. Yeah, it looks like your Nana's crystal candy dish, where you could just take the lid off this and get in there and get yourself some of the hard candy. Maybe it's a Werther's, maybe it's a peppermint. I don't know. Maybe it's a caramel. $1864, just scratching it out on the west coast of the wild frontier of Canada. I haven't even been connected to the rest of the Canada yet. The railroad hadn't connected anything yet. You know how you got to British Columbia? A 3-month wagon train, or you took a steamer ship down the southern tip of South America and back up the west coast, which took, I don't know, a month or something. but they're building this. Yeah, PCS World says there was no vehicles before the reset, so why such wide streets? Yeah, yeah. I mean, by vehicles you mean like motor vehicles, right? The automobile, or even the horse and buggy. Because before that, it was just carts, crappy wooden carts that were pulled by mule, or if you were rich enough to have a horse, maybe you had an ox. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's right, Vaughn. Palaces for everyone. Oldworld Mi'kmaq says I could look at old Canadian structures all day. Yeah, that makes two of us. That makes two of us. A month to get there, but build in 2 years. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. The Canadian old buildings are spectacular. Well, thank you, Kathy. I appreciate that. And yeah, I would agree. A lot of these are pretty spectacular. And in fact, I think we'll end it on this one as a high note. This is the provincial parliamentary, legislature building for British Columbia. It's on the Vancouver Island in the beautiful city of Victoria.
Oh, I say, it's my namesake. Absolutely lovely, loyal subjects. We do so like when you name portions of your dominion after us.
Look at this thing. This is the equivalent of our, state capitol buildings in the US, right? These are Canadian parliamentary buildings. It's where the lawmakers yell at each other and argue when they're passing laws or proposing, our equivalent of proposing bills to be passed into law. But there it is. Yeah. Get more domes than you know what to do with. And then we'll just put some cupolas on top of every dome. Every dome gets a cupola with a dome on it, just in miniature. Every single one. You get a couple over here. A couple over here. This guy's got one. You got two here. The big one's definitely going to get one. Not to mention, we're just going to get lousy with all the statues and just litter the place with statues and carvings and figurines and some kind of wacky tech. This thing is, and the fountain. Don't forget, let's not forget the fountain there, Frankie. Let's not forget the fountain. 1893, they built this. I don't mean to sound braggadocious. I didn't have anything to do with this. I didn't build it. Even my great-great-granddaddy had nothing to do with building this. But sure is purty, I'll tell you what. Man, oh man. Yeah. This is, where you would ride your horse and the horse and carriage would pull you underneath here so you could get out under cover of, the rain or snow and just come in the side entrance rather than pulling in the front and having to go up 74 million stairs. We'll put one on the other side too. Just incredible, man. The landscaping and and this again is a complex of buildings. It's not just, you can clearly see there are flanking buildings that they've joined together with this nonsense. Yeah, hippie shake in the boxes. It looks like a French palace. Eric, Lost and Found History Rewritten. I am not amused. Yeah. Yeah, quite the sight, this place. Anyway, there you go. I'm going to leave you salivating and wanting for more off with that one. That's actually going to be in an upcoming video that I've got a couple of video projects in the works. And part of that, actually, that file, part of what we were looking at is a whole file of that video. But that's going to probably have to wait until after Reset 1700 is in the can and good to go. Because, that's a lot of plates in the air for a guy. You know what I'm saying? Excuse me while I light my smoke here. Take a sip of my water. Excuse me, I think I'm gonna get ready to wind this thing down here a little bit. Again, apologies for the hiccup in the live, but I'll just change the title of it and I'll change all the links in the description below for after the re-up. So if you're watching this after the fact, it's first of all, hello and thank you and welcome. Appreciate all your support. Secondly, yeah, it's what you may have seen this titled as has been changed. So you're not missing anything. There was just technical hiccups. The interwebs was being snarky to a guy. But before we go, I'm going to share a couple of video files here that, you know, the weekly Kathy Broughton shenanigans. She tends to send me a lot of funny stuff. So let's see what I've got here. Oh, this one is very, I mean, this is an American video, but I mean, this is very Canadian looking. This is something you would see in Banff, Alberta, there in the Rocky Mountains. You know where that big mountain castle is that they call a hotel? We looked at earlier in the show. Yeah, I thought this was cute, and this would be very Canadian. That bear just knows, hey, wait a second. What's going on around here? What's the idea with the cone being knocked over? I was going to say it's like it knew, but it does know. It does know. Oh, I've got another one here from this funny lady. I don't know this lady's name, but she's funny. Oh, come on, man. It doesn't want to share it. Okay, I'm going to try not to hype up this next one then, because whenever I hype something up, I get these technical difficulties. So I'm just going to let this one go.
I would like 3 chicken wing with the fried rice. I would like 3 chicken wing with the fried rice. I would like 3 chicken wing with the fried rice. I would like 3 chicken wing with the fried rice. Used to eat Chinese on the late nights at the lair with a hater who would throw shade wife. Box like an ocean, I ain't think twice. Turned into Larry Bird, homie, that's a great white. Spell victory on the lips, then she get dismissed.
That's enough. I don't want to get copyrighted on that. Take it easy. It's not my video, kid. I thought that was that old dude had the first thing that popped into my head. The first thing that I thought when I saw that video is that old guy's got the moves. That old dude can move. Yeah, he's a groovy mover. Wait, you actually don't have any more park rangers at all? Really? Come on. You got to have park rangers, some serious. But the park rangers got to be like serious outdoorsy park rangers now. They can't just be these goofy fatzos sitting in their in the ranger station. You know, you got to get out and keep an eye on the stuff. Make sure that there's going to be any potential fires, and you got to Smokey the Bear it. You know, you can't just be sitting there shoving donuts down your eating hole, down your food tube. You know, as much as, hey, I'm Canadian, right? As much as I like donuts, I love donuts as much as the next guy. I'm pretty convinced we invented donuts up here in Canada land. But either way, you got to take the job seriously if you're going to be a park ranger. If you're just sitting around and you keister all day, then yeah, you got to go. You got to go. Yeah, that is a man, Vaughn. That old dude is a man. But maybe he's gonna be taking a lady out dancing. So he's practicing, he's dusting off his moves. Yeah, he's taking his lady out dancing. I think I have one more here. Let's see. What is this?
Things for people to say. I was wrong. I need help. And Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire.
Yeah. Worcestershire. It's Worcestershire. Forget all the Chestertington stuff. Forget all that. Worcester is in the Earl of Worcester. And then Shire, like, hobbits. Or every second town in England has a name of. Westingtonshire. Worcestershire sauce. Yeah. Yeah, Worcester. The Earl of Worcester. It's a soft R. You say the R, but you don't say Worcester. You say Worcester. Worcester. It's a lazy R. Because you've got to slacken your lower jowls and let your bottom lip kind of hang loosely about the lower portion of your face, you'll see. And then it's very easy to say Worcestershire sauce, you see. I want to try that funny lady one more time. Even though I know it's going to crash and burn and fail miserably. Yeah, no, it doesn't like it. Every once in a while, it doesn't like it, even though it's all from the same platform. Run through my same exact editing software. See, Hippie knows. Yes, Hippie's from over there. Hippie's over in Wales there in the UK. So Worcestershire. At least that's how my nan used to say it. My mom's mom. My nana. My nanner. She taught us to say it like that. Worcestershire sauce. Like the Earl of Worcester. Ah, okay. Okay, Nan. So yeah, you don't have to worry about the Worcestershire. Worcestershire. Yeah. Yes, that's the one, Kathy. Haircut. That is the one. That's the one with that lady. I don't know where that lady's from. She sounds like she's from the South, God bless her. The lady with the glasses. Anyway, yeah, that's the one. Worcestershire sauce, you see. Quite. Anyway, that's enough of that nonsense. So there you go. That is going to seal the deal here tonight for Frankie, New West Reset, and New West Reset Live, episode 109. The smorgasbord of shenanigans is probably what I'm going to end up calling this thing. We're all over the place here tonight. So thank you for sticking with me and supporting me through the technical difficulties. I appreciate it. As mentioned, links below for everything, including the updated links for what we actually did cover for the show tonight, as well as, my email, a fella's social media over there on MeWe, and, the BitChute channel, the Goggle Maps, courtesy of cousin Vinny, and, of course, links to Rumble. So, again, hello and thank you, and appreciate all your support to everybody on Rumble and YouTube. PayPal down there as well for the manicure fund. And I think I will leave you with one last, even though it's not public, I'll leave you with one last view of the teaser trailer for Reset 1700. And then I'll sign off. About a heaven in Alberta, where they've got all hell for a basement. All right, so there you go. So thanks again, everybody, and we shall see you next week. So till then, take care out there and have yourselves a good one. Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
It's a mystery. It's a mystery wrapped in a riddle inside an enigma.